You're welcome back, and you're still watching Newsnight. We're live from Nigeria's capital in Abuja. With the latest ruling by the Supreme Court of Nigeria to grant financial autonomy to local government councils, questions are being raised about the financial probity at the local government level. And now that the huge funds will be available to local governments, how can it be tracked? What are the things to put in place to avoid frivolous spending by the council chairman? Joining us now to speak on the need for effective methods to checkmate the local government officers and how to ensure funds allocated to the third tier of government are not looted is a pioneer president of the Chartered Institute of Forensics and Certified Fraud Investigators of Nigeria, Dr. Ilyasu Gashinbaki. I hope I got that right.
Yeah, you did.
Very warm welcome to
Good
Newsnight.
try.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Very well.
Yeah.
You know, the funds that will be going to each local government council is humongous,
Yeah.
you know. Look at Delta State. The governor just said, look, they have 10 billion already of this allocation that
Yeah.
is still in their coffers,
Yeah.
you know. But management of these funds is already raising eyebrows. Do they have the capacity? And where does your own institute, the Chartered Institute of Forensics and Certified Fraud Investigators, come in here to allow for probity?
All right. I think before I go into that, let me congratulate all Nigerians that this judgment, in my view, and also the view of the Institute, perhaps is the biggest step ever taken in deepening democracy and deepening federalism in Nigeria since 1999, for the past 2.5 decades. And again, as a disclaimer to the immediate past speaker, the Supreme Court has spoken. There is no any other thing that you do other than enforce the judgment of the Supreme Court. Anything caretaker is illegal. The state governors must, without any delay, conduct elections immediately. Now, for the Institute, basically to safeguard finances, there are 3 buckets of key pillars that we need to put our eyes on. Number 1 is the revenue management systems. We must make sure that there is a very, very transparent and accountable revenue management systems. For example, we are already aware. So when you are talking about Delta State government, within the past 2.5 decades, we are talking about over 40 trillion that would have gone through the local government system, through the governors.
And there's nothing to show.
And there is nothing to show for it. As we speak, under the Freedom of Information Act, SEREP has gone to court to compel the 36 state governors, including the FCT minister, to show costs and clearly define where those monies went to. So that's just to show you the quantum of money that need to be managed. So proper, accountable revenue management system need to be in place. The second leg that need to be looked at is public procurement. So much money is being filtered through public procurement fraud and public procurement malfeasance. And we have seen it even at the federal level. It's a struggle. The state level is a huge struggle, talk less of local government level. Therefore, states that have not passed the law, domesticated their public procurement laws, should immediately take steps to do that. The reason being that the state public procurement law also provide provisions for the procurement at the local government level. Yes.
But,
now,
okay.
the last leg added to revenue management and budget is also the one that has to do with the
could it be like a tenders system, for example, for the award of contracts?
Yes,
and
that comes under public procurement.
Okay.
Yes, that comes under public procurement because public procurement covers due process, covers tenders.
Yeah.
While the revenue management covers all the revenues that will come to states from federal allocation, and then plus the 10% of IGR. You know, states also. That is one other thing that people are not even talking about, or probably unaware, that 10% of states' internally generated revenue by law also should go goes to the local government. So when you combine the FAC allocation plus the 10% IGR, that gives you the total the revenue that local governments are supposed to have access to.
In some cases, it will be up to $1 billion, and in other cases, it could be more.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot, humongous. And do you think there should be need for a management team at the local councils in managing these finances? That is what Algon says. That's the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, that they've gotten 1 or 2 financial experts to track, monitor the money and the rest. All these are not, in the laws setting up the local government, but for sake of probity and prudence. That's why they're saying this.
Yes. Well, they say in mathematics, you move from the known to the unknown. What we know today, we have auditor generals of local governments. What needs to be done also immediately before anything else is to make sure that auditor generals of local government before now, they are just like figureheads. Nothing much there, because most of the things, most of the funds that comes either from FG or the so-called 10% from IGR doesn't even get to the local governments. So the auditor generals were, in a way,
redundant.
Now, this is the time for the auditor generals of local governments to do their work. We need to build the capacity of the office of the auditor generals, because they are the ones that have oversight over local government funds. Then, of course, anti-corruption agencies like the EFCC, the ICPC, the NFIU, it is also, this is the time that we need to work together to make sure that there is proper capacity building within the local government administration that covers revenue management, public procurement. Now, at the administrative level, the local government also, they have councillors. And then they have, among the councillors, they have also supervisory councillors. So the supervisory councillors are like the commissioners or the ministers, because they are the ones with designated portfolios. So again, that system at that level need to be strengthened. The supervisory that acts like provides administrative function in a way, their capacity need to be strengthened. And then the councillors that act as the legislative arm of the local governments, also there is a need to build their capacity, because absolutely there is nothing there. So you can imagine almost 2.5 decades of absence of governance at that level. And now with this quantum of money going into that place, it is not going to be well if it is just left for the local government alone. EFCC must provide the required watch, the same as ICPC, the same as NFIU. And that is why also, as the Chartered Institute of Forensics, we are out there to make sure that we coordinate these efforts. We provide all the professional guidance that will make sure that the key structures of accountability and transparency at the local government level is not just stated, but rather enforced and adhered to.
Exhibited.
Yeah. Because let me add quickly.
Very.
People have begun to say that, oh, what we need to do now is to publish the allocations that will go to local governments and all of it. You see, transparency is not enough. We have to move into accountability. We have moved from the era of transparency to accountability. The funds that will now go into the hands of this local government chairman, we need to hold them accountable for it and help them build structures around them that makes it
solid and strong.
Yeah.
And to help, propagate democratic values.
Absolutely.
Thank you so very much. Dr. Ilyasu Gashinbaki is the pioneer president and chairman of the Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Forensics and Certified Fraud Investigators of Nigeria. Thanks very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.